welcome to Raiders of the Lost Tropes. It's my job to travel the world and find the shitty movies that time forgot. This movie requires me to travel to a dark world of pain and suffering to find it. It's a dark morality tale of the dangers of being a lazy, good-for-nothing shithead that leads to mayhem and murder. So sit back and enjoy Idle Hands. Idle Hands is a horror comedy that came out in 1999 and is about a teen named Anton that is such a slacker that his hand gains a mind of its own and immediately starts to gruesomely murder everyone around it. Because that makes perfect sense. The movie's opening sequence is a chaotic mess of blood, pentagrams, and other strange images that can barely be made out, all set to that same bland, techno-ish rock music that was all the rage in the late 90s. We then transition to a quaint house decorated for Halloween and find a couple getting ready for bed, played by Fred Willard and some woman I don't recognize from anything else. And then they go to bed. That's when we get our first horror movie cliche of the film, because that's what every killer does before they kill you. Fred looks under the bed and finds nothing, saying it must be a prank played by their son Anton. But then a noise comes from downstairs. That's another ding on the trip counter. So the mom sits looking scared for no real reason while Fred goes and looks. She starts to knit. 'Cause, yeah, knitting. That calming, I guess. We get an attempt at a jump scare when the pet cat jumps into the bed. We screams downstairs and leads her to investigate and find a pool of blood. She runs back upstairs to call the police. I guess they only have one phone in the house in 1999. But before she can dial, she's yanked under the bed, and holy crap, what's happening under the bed? I can understand the blood shooting out, but that bed is shaking. We fade to black and then come back to find Anton, our hero for the picture, waking up. To say Anton is lazy would be an understatement. He wanders through the house before sitting down to get high and turns on the news. Yeah, because that's what every stoner is going to watch. The news. And it just so happens that the local exposition news explains that there has been a series of murders around town. The most recent of which being some local twins that worked at a fast food place and that the town has issued a curfew. Anton runs out of weed and calls his friend and is told to come pick it up. Walking across the street, we are introduced to his two friends, Mick, played by Seth Green, and Penub, played by Penub? His name's Penub. Why? Is it a nickname, or did his parents just really hate him? Anyways, we were then treated to the exact same exposition we had just heard. I guess that they figured the people watching the movie were also stoned, so they would need the reminder. I mean, it's understandable that Anton didn't hear the news report because he had his headphones on, but come on. They could have just left out the news report and gave us this exposition, or vice versa. Anyway, so Anton tells Mick and Penub that he hasn't seen his parents in a few days. So, wait, he hasn't seen his parents with whom he lives with for a few days, and he didn't get curious? Is it common for them to disappear without telling him or something? The sound of a motorcycle draws Anton to the window, and we meet the love interest for the movie. Molly, played by Jessica Alba, who Anton has been stalking for years. Not creepy at all. She drops her lyric book because every hot girl in the 90s was a songwriter. Anton gets her book and returns it, but is too much of a chicken and runs away before she can thank him. We then fade to Beaver, Utah, and we see a nun played by Vivica A. Fox being escorted to a cell in a jailhouse. And we learn her name is Debbie LaCure.
Tell you, Sister Liquor.
That's LaCure?
It turns out Debbie isn't really a nun. She's some sort of demon hunting, badass slayer chick. looking for someone with a possessed hand. She looks over a map and adds a murder in the town where Anton lives, and just like every demon, all the murders form a pentagram. You know, if I was a demon, I would do a different symbol to throw the hunters off. Maybe a smiley face. Or an asshole. We rejoin Anton heading back home with a shopping cart full of food. You know, it just occurred to me, where is Anton getting money from? It's obvious a slacker of his level wouldn't have a job, and his parents have been missing for a few days. Does he just steal from his parents' bank account or something? So Anton gets hassled by some cops that he went to high school with, who steal $1 from him and write him a ticket for littering. Once he gets back home, Anton tries to get high from nutmeg and oregano, which works out as well as you'd expect. He then discovers the bodies of his parents hidden in scarecrows. Now, hold on. I will give you that he's so dumb that he doesn't know what is going on around him, but dead bodies start to stink pretty fast. After his friends come over, they start to discover that Anton is the killer, or well, part of him is. Anton's hand proceeds to kill both Mick and Penub, stabbing one in the head with a beer bottle and cutting the other one's head off. In shock, Anton sits on the couch, and we're treated to a kind of funny scene where Anton and his hand fight over the TV remote.
Get out of here, Bones!
The hand throws the cat out the window and Anton goes to try to find it. Just so happened to going straight to Molly's house. The hand rings her doorbell and Molly answers, wearing a teeny tiny outfit, and invites Anton inside. Thank him. Anton's hand apparently also wants to bang/kill Molly, which apparently is her kink because she starts making out with him. He returns home to bury his parents and friends, but it turns out that Mick and Penub are now zombies and they knock Anton out with a shovel. Anton wakes up the next morning and thinks all of it was a dream until he comes down to find Dumb and Dumber are still zombies, but they're not evil, mindless zombies. They were just too lazy to go into the light. They figure out that his hand is possessed, so Anton goes to talk to the local metalhead, who we find trying to pick up on some high school girl even though he says he graduated 3 years ago.
Making you feel like shit inside. You still in high school? Yeah, me, I got out about 3 years ago.
So Anton explains to metalhead Randy. Wait, really? That's the best name we could come up with? Okay. Randy explains that he needs to keep his hands busy.
Hands are the devil's playground.
So we cut to Anton knitting. I think he should have maybe chosen an activity that didn't involve putting sharp objects into a homicidal hand, but that's just me. So the cops from earlier show up and Anton's hand kills one with the knitting needle and fries the other with a taser. Jeez, how powerful is that thing? Evil Dead on his hand and chop it off.
No way.
With a bagel cutter.
One thing I can... I mean, I guess it wasn't idle enough. Those things won't even cut my bagel.
He finally cuts it off with a cleaver and Nick and Penub run off to get a first aid kit, leaving Anton alone. And as it turns out that just cutting the hand off doesn't do anything but lets it free to run around on its own. So that's how the Addams family got Faye. The demon hand tries to kill Anton and gets nuked in the microwave until it explodes. I'm not sure if that would actually work, but we need more gore in the picture. Shows up in a skimpy angel outfit to go to the Halloween dance at the high school. Bloody. Anton and Molly leave when Anton sees Mick and Penub returning. After ditching Molly at the school, Anton returns home to find the idiot brothers have accidentally freed the hand, which is still running around after being exploded. We pick back up with Randy at the bowling alley when Debbie shows up. Randy hits on her and they start talking, and we finally get an explanation.
You looking for a ball?
I come from a long line of druidic priestesses sworn to fight a certain evil force that possesses the laziest fuck-up it can find. It will kill as many people as possible, and then drag a free soul into the netherworld.
Wait, druid priestesses? Whatever. At least it isn't the chosen one. Randy tells her about Anton and his hand, and the two leave to find him. Back with the Three Stooges, Anton tries to convince Mick and Penub to help him stop the hand from killing Molly. They steal Randy's car just as Debbie and Randy show up, and Debbie gets knocked out by accident, letting our hero... At the school, two teens are making out in a car, both dressed as members of KISS. That just raises all kinds of questions about them that I'm not going to go into. The hand crawls into the car and kills both of them after feeling the girl. Because evil hand. Free booby. In the gym, the dance is going on and Molly is dancing. We see... This school's got the Offspring to play. My high school would barely spring for a DJ, and they get the Offspring? What the hell? The hand murders the principal and sharpens his fingers into diva nails. Anton runs into Debbie and Randy, who attempt to kill him in order to stop the evil hand, but become besties after learning that he's cut it off.
Give him what for? What? I'm not actually...
Debbie explains that the hand plans to take Molly to hell at midnight Druid time. Druid time? Oh hell. This is the longest 6 minutes ever. Anton tries to get everyone out of the gym, but is thrown off stage when no one believes him until the hand rips the singer's scalp off. Lesson, kids. If blood-soaked men start ranting at you you do whatever they say. The hand is chasing Molly and some blonde chick who are crawling through a very spacious air duct trying to escape and narrowly get away. But the blonde cannon fodder gets chopped up by the giant phantom. Anton goes searching in an art room and gets attacked by the hand, now wearing a terrifying puppet. After the fight, Anton and his friends find that the hand has tied Molly to a car that is slowly rising up to crush her on a pentagram painted on the ceiling. I guess is more original than cutting out her heart. Anton tries to free her, but only manages to rip her dress off. The guys fight the hand over the controls for the lift, with Mick finding a giant bong that has been made in the metal shop.
Those auto shop boys are true artistes.
Meh, if their metal shop teacher was like mine, they could have gotten away with it. Mick and Penub start to get high, and Anton gets the idea to blow a massive cloud of smoke into the hand puppet. And that somehow gets the hand stoned. There is literally 1,000 things wrong with that. Anton stops the car and saves Molly. But the hand wakes up and leaps at Anton and Molly, but is impaled to Mick's chest with Debbie's knife and vanishes in a very weak puff of smoke, which even the movie points out in lame, in another self-aware moment.
That's it? That's it? No explosions? No hellfire? No...
With the hand defeated, Debbie and Randy take off to have sex because... reasons. Mick and Penub see a white light and decide to go on to the afterlife. Suddenly the car drops and crushes Anton. Great! So that's the movie.
You blew off heaven to kick it with me. You are the coolest.
Are you kidding me? You take.
Did she just imply that Anton died and chose not to go to heaven and is now a zombie like Mick and Penub? Mick and Penub return and explain that they are now Anton's guardian angels. The nurse says that Anton needs to sleep and everyone leaves. They turn out the lights and Anton sees, "I'm under the bed," written in glow-in-the-dark paint like the beginning of the movie. Anton screams, but we learn that it was just a prank played by his guardian angels.
Hey, you're right. Anton screams like a girl.
So that was Idle Hands. Is it a bad movie? Sure. It's meant to be a comedy, and with a few exceptions, it's not that funny. I know the filmmakers were trying to make a semi-parody of horror movies, but it just falls flat. This movie had a reported budget of $20 million, and I honestly don't know where it all went. None of the effects looked that complicated for 1999. It must have went to weed budget or something. Anyways, some people say that the film was a failure because it opened only 10 days after the Columbine High School massacre, which did hurt a lot of films at that time, especially the more violent ones. I think that this film would have failed regardless on the sheer fact that it is a movie about a demon-possessed hand killing people on Halloween that was released in April. I could see people actually going to this movie during Halloween, but the fact that it came out in the spring, I think, really hurt it more than anything. Well, thanks for joining me, and till next time, I'm the Raider of the Lost Trope.